On today's video, we'll be taking a look at some Magic cards that you should be watching. Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I am MTG Moxman, and we're going to be talking about some Magic cards today. So if you're new to the channel, buckle up, get ready for some fun. Hope you like Army of Darkness, references to old movies, and of course some conversations about Magic cards, guys. So when we're talking about these cards, this game we love, forget about any of the mistakes Wizards makes. Think about playing the game, having a good time with friends, family, kicking back, playing with your kids, going to an LGS, meeting some new friends, and just enjoying the game. Hope you guys support your LGS. I hope you guys do. And I look at the game and the changes it has gone through, and you see all the value that is in the cards, the tens of thousands of cards that Wizards of the Coast has created. It's led me to a few little short versions in my head. And this one is today we're just going to talk about some awesome cards out there. We're going to be talking about some cards that I think may be undervalued, may have future value, or I just think are awesome pieces of Magic history that may show some future love down the road, and maybe a couple of cards you guys haven't seen in a very long time. So on today's video, we'll go through all these cards, we'll have a good laugh, we'll enjoy the content, and at least I hope you enjoyed the content. If you don't, go get a Snickers bar and hope you feel satisfied later on. But when we get there and we say, hey, this is an awesome game, I remember those cards, I remember playing with these, and the value that some of these cards may hold for the future of Magic, you can't really bling out with the new stuff anymore. People are blinging out with old stuff that they know is not coming back anytime soon, even when it's not on the reserve list. So let's go ahead, let's take a few minutes and enjoy some awesome old cards. So we're going to start off our conversation today looking at Alpha, Beta, and Unlimited lands. So when you look at an Alpha land, those rounded corners, that deep black, the original OG artwork for lands inside Magic the Gathering, this is like the pinnacle of bling. It is the best it's ever going to get because it is such a limited supply in the world. And the faster people recognize this, the scarier it's going to become. Because if you look at a basic land, here you can find a heavily played one here in Toronto for $70 Canadian. And you look at the average, it's $69.99 US. The market's about $100 US, and it's €55.71. And the sales are steady, okay? It can be used in every format. These are the original of the original lands, okay? Finding any of these in decent shape is hard enough. Even getting any into your collection is going to cost you a fortune. If you want to get 10 of each one, think about that. That's $700 to $800 per mana set that you're trying to collect minimum. That's a lot of investment of cash to get your Alpha lands. But if you're a person who's got to have these, let me tell you something. These lands are going to go way over this. The trend I've been watching and following, and I had to back check and follow up with some stores, but it's hard for them to even get these in stock. They're always picked up by a few local players who like those old school bling formats, as well as the fact they might be trying to finish collections. And it's just such a tight amount out there. It's pretty scary, actually. So I'm warning you all, in case you're trying to get maybe at least one for your collection, that one day will not be possible. But enjoy it, because it is a pretty awesome thing to look at. And I'm talking about any of the lands from Alpha, any of the basic lands. Think about those in your collections. Think about that as a fun thing to remember, how we used to play with these without sleeves. Just insane how far these prices have come for basic lands. Now, when we're talking Beta, again, I put just Swamp up here, but for Beta in general, $48 is about half the price, give or take. Now, you can see that's here in Canada for moderately played. Now, the average here is $25.49 US. The market there is $40. You can see it's €19.62 to get that card into your house. And this card is kind of trending down a bit in value. Great, take advantage of that because it's not going to stay there. There's a lot more Beta basic lands out there, but they're still not that cheap. People are still buying them, and the sales lately have been higher than normal because they've slightly dipped down in price. People are like, why not just, at least get 4 of them? Why not just get 5 of each one? They're doing it. It's happening. And again, when I opened my Beta, I didn't even really care about the lands other than plains because I was playing a white weenie deck. So I've mostly put these cards aside, and most of the ones I have are in pretty near mint shape. But I don't have very many. I don't know what happened to them. I got a couple smatterings of here and there. I didn't keep the cards the way I should have. So learn from those mistakes. And again, this is anywhere. Now, Beta kind of has a home. Alpha definitely has a home. But let's get to the next one here. When we take a look at Unlimited. This is before revised and after beta. Unlimited has that nice deep text. Okay, it has a very dark looking text. I think it looks quite unique. I've always enjoyed them. And you can see there, $4 Canadian, near mint. The average is $3.32 US. The market is $3.49 US. And it's €2.82. Now that is affordable. For an unlimited card, this is affordable. Look at the other two. Look at Alpha. Look at Beta. Do you really think this card, in Unlimited, in near mint, those ones were moderately played and heavily played, is this actually going to stay where it is? Yes, the supply is a lot higher. But is it actually going to stay at this price? Do you honestly believe it's going to stay there? Because guess what? History has already told us what's going to happen to this. And again, it goes into every format because it's a basic land. It can fit anywhere. And when somebody sees that and goes, hey, what's that from? You're the one who will get to say, oh, me? That's from Unlimited. Third set ever put out. I'm telling you, bronze ain't bad when there was only gold, silver, and bronze back then. Very, very amazing. Now, when we start looking at other cards, you start looking for a little functionality as well as some age to it. Here's Urborg. Now, this is the one that takes away first strike. Doesn't come into play tap. Remember the old school lands. A lot of history around this card on Dominaria. And you look at this and say, okay, we got Urborg. It can tap to remove first strike. It taps for black. It's amazing. $48 Canadian near mint for an old Legends card that's almost 30 years old. Are you kidding me? I found moderately played ones for $16 US. That is insane to me. This card is played in Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Old School. The average price is $27.99 US. You see the market price there is $29.10. And then, of course, you can look at it and say, hey, it's €26.86 to get that card to your house. I know, you can't help but say it. Sales are steady. A couple of copies sell all the time. But as the Commander format expands, as other people collect these cards up, these are limited. These cards haven't been printed in a very long time. So keep that stuff in mind, okay? Urborg is awesome. Now, let's start looking at guys like Jedit, Ojani, and whatever. Old legendary guy who had no powers, no abilities. A basic legendary guy from Legends back in 1994. $12 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $6. The market's $5.43. €7.32. Now formats, Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Old School. He's probably not likely to see play. I'll be honest. He's cool. I love the look of him, but he's not very powerful, is he, compared to anything that we put out onto the battlefield nowadays. I agree. He is not the snazziest character at the show. But man, got some good old school memories. I like the look of the card, like the artwork, and I can see people wanting to collect play sets of old Legends cards, right? Just to have them and say they got a little bit of that history. If you're going to be looking to anything this old school that could totally be reprinted or nobody really cares about, but it looks nice, remember to only go for near mint. Don't bunge out and say, I'm going to spend $4 and get like a heavily played copy. Yeah, that's great if you just want to have some fun with it, but if you're trying to add to a collection or a binder to enjoy, just to view it, you might as well spend the extra money and go for a near mint. Just kind of keep that stuff in mind. He's not going to be a very expensive card. The sales are super slow. Look for the near mint. All right. Red mana battery, black mana battery, white mana battery, blue mana battery, the mana batteries. All right, from a Legends. They haven't been printed since 5th edition, I believe. I'm looking at this going, it's amazing. I remember using these. 4 to get out. It taps for 1 mana, but you can put charge counters on it. You can save this bad boy for later and do some damage. I know it's not an expensive card. It can be reprinted anytime, but the OG original just, it calls to me sometimes when I see stuff like this. And spending $7 Canadian for a near mint copy seems like skipping a Big Mac and getting myself a beautiful piece of Magic history. I look at the average there and say $6.61 US. The market's $6.96 US. €3.60. It's kind of upticked a bit. Formats are Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Old School. I don't think I've seen this thing being played in a good 10 years. I haven't seen it. Any of the mana batteries. But that doesn't mean that somebody can't throw one in to throw somebody off, put it out there for some fun, build a janky old school deck, have some fun with a Commander deck that you're only playing old school cards in. It could be fun. I like this card. That's why I at least have one of each of these of the mana batteries, because I love them growing up. That's how I got out my great big huge Arcady Sabbath. It was awesome. All right. Next card we're talking about is Winds of Change. Again, a card that hasn't been reprinted in a pretty long time. This one has been rising in value. It's dipped the last little while, but it's one of those cards you got to keep an eye on. Legends card, this is a 1 casting cost. Think about this. If I have no cards in hand, I'm not going to use it. But if I've got a full boat of hands that I don't care about and my opponent's tapped out all of his stuff and I cast Winds of Change, I'm the one drawing 5 cards, 6 cards, whatever cards you had in your hand. So if I have 7 and they had 1, they're going to get to draw 1 card. I'm going to draw 7, but I'm going to have a fresh new hand. It's amazing. I love this card. $48 Canadian, moderately played. Of course, I would go for the old school vintage, perfect condition for price, $70 Canadian, near mint. The market is $42.30 US. The average is $42.30. Sorry, the market's $42.43. €36.75 to get that card to your house. And the formats, Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and Old School. But come on, this thing in a Commander is definitely going to happen if it hasn't already. I'm sure it is. I've never run into this card in a Commander game yet, but I haven't played that many. So I'm just saying it could happen. Depending on how somebody's built their deck, they might want to cycle through a lot of cards. That is definitely a great card to have in there. And for a one drop use, oh, amazing. All right, Recall Legends. Now, this is funny. You can get a Chronicles 1 for like $1. But you go back and you start looking at Legends, original Recall, $130 Canadian, near mint. And they had one in stock. The average price is $108.97 US. The market price is $134.99 US. And €116.40 to get you that card. Formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Old School. I use this card all the time in my Old School deck. Okay? In my kitchen table Magic, I used to always have to use this to get the cards I want and put into play. It's an amazing card. It brings back a lot of great, strong memories for me. It may not be as versatile as some cards today, but it still has... I mean, obviously people are using it because I see Commander decks built with this card in it. So, pretty awesome. Gotta say, love the cards you see in Legends. I'm telling you. Amazing stuff. Now, when we're taking a look at Kismet, again, this has been reprinted quite a few times. But the original does hold some serious value. You can see the original from Legends around $30 Canadian, near mint. Sales are slow on this thing, though. But the average is $24.70. The market is $24.89 US. And it's €24.03 to get that card to your house. Putting this in Commander is just mean. All creatures, lands, and artifacts played by opponent come into play tapped. So I guess you got to choose your target when it comes into play in Commander. But if somebody's freezing you up or you're playing some one-on-one Commander, come on. This is pretty awesome. I used to love this card. I used it all the time in my Old School deck to stop opponents from like nuking me right away with all kinds of big beasties like crawworms and stuff coming at me. At least it comes into play tapped. I get the extra turn out of it. Then they would instill it, Bloodlust, Berserk it, and I would die. But that's okay. That's a tale for another day. All right, we're talking Preacher, Old School. Now, he's gone really high. He's dipped back down. He's still at that pulpit preaching to us about how awesome he is, taking control of things. A lot of the dark cards are unrecognized and undervalued. They're slowly creeping up there to be recognized for what they are. Look at how cheap the booster packs are. Look what the cards are out there. Look for near mint, and you will be a happy camper in 10 years, is my personal prediction. $100 Canadian near mint for a perfect copy. I love it. That seems very reasonable for what this card is. Now, the average is $89.99 US. The market is $87.20 US. And it's €73.33 to get that card. Formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and Old School. The sales are still steady. It's still selling a copy every day or so. And people don't seem to care if it's heavily played, light played, moderate. They're just buying copies. They're cheap. They can get their hands on. Probably a few collectors are buying the really near mint ones to add to their dark collections. But this is one of those cards that I called out early on, and I know a lot of people got very lucky, got in there quick, decisive, and just said, mine. Great card. All right, now we're taking a look here. Shazam de Jin. Let's talk. When you look at the Shazam, when you look at this bad boy, one of the bad boys of comedy that scared the living bejeebas out of me when I played as a kid. Because my Sarah Angel did not match up to a 5/5 for 4, comes out stomping you. It didn't matter if you're doing a damage to himself every turn, he didn't care. $3,000 Canadian for a slightly played copy. It looks beautiful. I've seen it. It's awesome. Now, the average is $4,999.99 US. That's pretty expensive. I would expect that to be like a BGS copy. The market says it's $2,499.94. That seems more reasonable. €1,589.67 to get that Shazam to come on over to your house and play some Nintendo with you. The sales are slow because this card is expensive. People have to save for this kind of card. And eventually I do have to get one because I am working toward my amazing collection of Arabian Nights. And every day I wait, this card gets a little more expensive. But seeing this guy hit the battlefield back in the day is one of those great memories I had. I look at it now and I say, yeah, he's pretty vanilla in comparison to anything we see nowadays, but there's just something about it. And he does see play in old school. Come on. How could not put that bad boy into their deck? There's why people play with City in a Bottle, right? Great card. And the value on things like this are going to rise. Where a lot of cards from Arabian Nights may not see that big jump in value, this guy never declines really. He dips a little bit and then kind of shoots up faster than you'd expect compared to other cards which take a longer time to drive the price. An amazing card, amazing piece of Magic history, very iconic. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our last card today. That's going to be Sorcerer's Queen, Arabian Nights. $75 Canadian for a moderately played copy. Seems pretty reasonable. The average price is $197 US. The market price is $124.76 US, and although I didn't find any near mint copies for that price, it seems fairly reasonable. €102.22 to get this card in your house. It's really come down from its previous highs back in early 2021, but now that you know how high it's reached and it did sell, if this is a card you're after for your Arabian Nights collection like me, I'll settle for a heavily played copy. I just want to get one. But I look at this in players who might want like near mint copies because this thing still gets played. I remember this in Revised when we saw it, and it just like totally brutalized some of my cards. I hated it. They put like, you know, they did things to like make it a 0-2 and then kill my stuff. Mean people out there. Formats being Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and Old School. Guys, amazing card, amazing piece of Magic history, and the value is there. This is a pretty affordable card right now. Pretty awesome stuff. All right, let me just click this off. So here we have the conversation. I never thought I'd be talking with you guys about alpha lands being $100. 10 years ago, that would not be a thought entering my head. Beta lands at around $50. Unlimited lands for $3, $4, $5 and going up. Revised lands, pennies on the dollar, go for the near mint ones. Who thought those would be the bling to fill out your deck in the future, because Wizards overkilled the specialty market. They killed the foil market. You have to go to old school foils, the ones that are beautiful, not the curly Pringles we get nowadays. Hopefully they fix that at some point. I never thought when I saw the Shazam de Jin as a kid for $50 at a store, I thought, who would ever buy that? And now I see it for $3,000 and I go, why didn't I buy that? Red Mana Battery. Blue Mana Battery. Just great cards from the old days that are not likely seeing reprints anytime soon. These are fascinating things for me to talk about with you guys. And I love seeing your guys' input in our conversations about how these things are. But there is value out there. I'm glad I've got my piece of it. I'm glad I get to see things moving in the right trending direction for myself and a lot of the viewers on the channel. But what else is coming down the pipe? Can't wait to just talk more about it. I hope you guys had a great time with the conversation today. Thanks for hanging out with me right till the end of the video. Put a boomstick in the comments section. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world of Magic the Gathering. And of course, a special thank you to each and every patron who's on my channel supporting me each and every day. Guys, you are amazing. Thank you so much. I can't say enough. Thanks again, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.